Now, the royal family was reunited today for the first time since Megxit. Of course, Prince Harry and Meghan, well, they were spotted shushing some of the younger royals as they watched Trooping the Colour from the Major General's office overlooking Horse Guards Parade. Later on, they were also seen smiling at crowds from a car as they drove with their windows down near Buckingham Palace. So, does this mean that the Sussexes will be welcomed back into the firm with open arms? I mean, surely the firm, this is what the firm wants. They want Harry and Meghan to, as we've seen quoted this week, stick to the script, keep a low profile, come back and show their respects, but not turn it into the Harry and Meghan show. No,
no overt public appearances, keep it low profile. I think the Queen wants that because, as Sharon said, she wants a smooth Jubilee and she wants a smooth transition to the next monarchy. She doesn't want all this upset. She hates upset and she hates all this family arguments behind closed doors. So will they embrace William and Harry? Yes, the Queen will. The Queen adores Harry. She always takes his calls. But other members of the royal family, not so sure.
But Harry likes to let us know that his grandmother adores him. You know, that interview he did at the Invictus Games.
Special relationship.
You know, I want to make sure that the people around her are the right people. That was rude.
Well, it was 2 years too late.
It was pompous, actually, because doesn't he not think his father, the Queen's son, and his brother cannot look after the Queen? And her army of staff, who are devoted their lifetime service to Her Majesty, are quite capable of looking after her. It was just talk.
But it was, I mean, surely it was deliberately taking pot shots at all those people.
The royal family will be afraid that whatever Harry and Meghan can glean from this Jubilee weekend to take back to America, to commercialise on their platform in America, they'll be very careful what they say and do around.
Although apparently the Netflix crew couldn't get accreditation and that's why they couldn't go today.
Oh,
boo-hoo.
Sad, yes.
Well, I mean, I'm probably going to be very unpopular on this panel because I'm like the one person in the world who thinks that they actually did have a hard time, and I think the Queen is right to welcome them back. Harry is one of her favourite grandchildren. They did have a very close relationship.
But Aisha, after everything they said and done, you think they should be welcomed back?
And they did throw members of the royal family under the bus.
But they were also thrown under the bus. And I do say this, as somebody particularly from an Asian background, a lot of ethnic minority people in this country were so moved when Meghan arrived, and she could have been a huge asset to the royal family.
She was a huge asset.
We were all moved when Meghan came to the royal family.
But then she got treated incredibly badly. And I think one of the things that the royal family will have to think about, Britain is changing. There is a younger generation, there is a more ethnically diverse generation, and they were absolutely
But that was embraced,
appalled.
Aisha. That was wholly embraced.
Then
Then
it absolutely wasn't, because most Black and Asian people in this country feel that she got treated really badly by certain sections of the press, certain journalists.
Like Camilla did back in the day.
This was on
Camilla
a different...
got it 100 times worse, but...
Again, with respect, I think, as someone from the Black and Asian, you know, certainly for the Asian community, there was a real sense of disappointment. And actually, in terms of the monarchy moving forward, they could be a huge asset to keeping the royal family popular.
I agree with what you say.
But that's just picking up on your point, Ian. Comparing Camilla and Meghan, I think, is not fair on Meghan, because the reason that the public and the press really, and I totally agree that they gave Camilla a really, really rough time. But they thought of her as a home wrecker. They thought of her as the other woman. They thought of her as adulteress, and so they felt they had a reason. They felt they had a genuine reason to dislike her. Whereas people, I don't think, did have a genuine reason to dislike Meghan when she started getting criticism. I think that was, you know, unfair criticism.
You know, I mean, I was lucky enough to spend some time with Prince Harry. We did a conference together, and we did have a conversation about a lot of this stuff. And, you know, there's a lot of people around the world, across the Commonwealth and in this country, and how she was treated leaves a really nasty taste in people's mouths. It's really sad.
But so you're saying that you did think there was racism?
Did you believe everything that Meghan said on the Oprah
I think there absolutely was, Daisy. I think there was a lot of racism from within the palace, and I think there was racism in the press.
But wasn't it just the perfect kind of tabloid stuff? You know, Camilla's, you're right, Daisy, it's not quite the same thing, but there were all the ingredients to make it.
She was the first non-white person to come into the palace, and she was hounded out.
I don't even think that was a factor in anybody's
But are you saying by the press or the press and the family?
Both.
Who in the family? Tell us everything.
Well, we know. I mean, we know from what they've said that there were overtones to it, and the way she was treated by the press, straight out of Compton, all of this kind of thing. And she got treated in a way which made a lot of people incredibly uncomfortable. I know this isn't popular with the panel.
It's not easy marrying
I know
into
it's
that
not popular
family.
with the panel, but
no, it's not easy
how...
marrying into the royal family. It's very difficult for an outsider to come into that world and understand all the rules and regulations. I have said this before. I do not believe that any member of the royal family is racist. I do not believe that. I never saw it in my 21 years.
A lot of people will, I'm afraid, disagree with you. Not overtly, but institutionally.
They don't know the royal family. I do.
But
I know the
institution and how it works, because the royal family is a product of our society, and there is a lot of racism.
No, absolutely not. She's head of the Commonwealth, and she's not. The royal family are not racist. I will not have anyone say they are.
We are going to have to move on, but I'm going to have the last word on that and say that some people who know people believe that they don't believe they're racist, but other people experience behaviour that they do, which they interpret as racist. So the two things, you can both be right in this instance.
But what about
as in people
Harry
don't mean
at
to be
that
Harry.
party dressing up as a Nazi?